Welcome in, folks. Thanks for joining me today. Life is hard, so let's ignore it for a while. I want to just briefly show you some changes I made to my code because I'm getting ready to create my teams, and there were some things I wanted to take care of. My apologies for not showing my face today. The sun is so bright in my window that I look like a ghost if I were to show you my face. But anyway, one thing I wanted to do, we're working with random values all over the place, and so I wanted to consolidate the random values. So I have this global random static class that everything that needs a random value is going to use this property, and I've seeded it with a number. And what this means is now, as long as the seed value remains the same, it will produce the same quote-unquote random numbers. So this is so we can get deterministic values. So I have run this with the number 31. If I changed this to 17, it would give me different values, and this is everything. Names, flags, populations, everything will use the same random seed. And so if I find a seed that I really like, which I've already done with 31, then I can actually reproduce that in subsequent runs of the program. If I were not to supply a seed, then this would be random each time. And if I found a result I liked, I would not be able to reproduce it. So that's why I've added this as a seed, because I like the number 31. It's the best number in the world. And I tried it out, and it seems to be okay, but we can tweak it. Another thing I did was I added city abbreviation to our city data, because I realized the city abbreviation in Out of the Park, while it's not used for the country's flag or anything, it will be used in the text of box scores and things like that. So I didn't want to have to come up with city abbreviations myself and make sure that they were unique. So that's the other thing I did. We used to have a unique abbreviation generator for the planetary body, aka the country abbreviations, because those dictate which flag you use, and they had to be unique. I pulled it out into an actual class. So this is this doesn't care what value you pass into it. It just says, if you need a unique abbreviation generator, here it is. It takes care of its own hash set of unique abbreviations, but it's not a static class, so I can make different instances of it. And so, yeah, I do use it. Where do I use it? Yeah, so I use it here for generating body abbreviations. We can go where I use that. So that is the country flags, essentially, and I don't need that anymore. So that's good. And then I also dumped it into city. City has its own private static instance so that it can use the same one over and over and over again. And we just call it here to get unique city abbreviations. So there's not two teams sharing an abbreviation for its city, which would be kind of not very good when it comes to the baseball text. We're just going to use that abbreviation all over the place. Okay, so the next thing I did was, and oh yes, I don't need this anymore. This is where I was using, that's where I took the unique abbreviation generator initially. what am I doing? Oh, yes. So because you can see my work in progress here. Because I realized that city abbreviations were so, were pretty important to be unique. I also created just a little helper class here to just assert that everything that I've generated is unique. So I want the teams themselves to be completely unique in all of their data. So city data is a record, so it's going to take a value. It's going to compare everything by value, just so we don't have any actual duplicate teams in our list, which is what we had before. But then I went and added the city abbreviations just because I wanted to do this. This is what actually showed me that I wasn't generating unique city abbreviations. So this really doesn't even have to be in there, this assert, but I did it anyway. I mean, if you're curious, my assert function is really not that complicated. Just make sure that the distinct values is equal to the number of values. And so because I wanted that, I realized that every year, or most years anyway, when we need an expansion team, I don't want to have to hunt through the list of cities and create an expansion team, making sure that everything is unique. So what I did was, after we pick our tiers, where is this? So we go through each tier and we pick teams for each tier. I'm creating 100 random teams, well, picking 100 random teams, 10 from each planetary system, and I'm dumping them under a list here of potential expansion teams. And I've added a number, an index from 1 to 100, and this is what it shows. Oh, these are the flags. This is what the file looks like now. So we have our tier 1, and I've moved the names around to what I think is the nicer order for when I have to enter these things into Out of the Park. So we have the city name, the city abbreviation, the country abbreviation. I think this is all I need to enter into Out of the Park. And these are just nice to know things. What system it's from, what planetary body it's from, and the population. So this is all the same, but now I have a potential expansion teams list. And this is numbered from 1 to 100. And so when it comes time, you can see all the numbers 1 through 10 are from Venus. 11 through 20 are from Jupiter. They're all from Ganymede, so that's interesting. I mean, of course they are. Anyway, and it goes through all of them. And so what this is going to let me do is, if I need an expansion team, then I'm just going to roll a D100. And yes, I'm literally going to roll a D100 percentile dice, and we'll get our expansion team for the year. And that is what it is. The two biggest things I wanted to know also after generating random data, and this is all with the seed 31. The two biggest countries that are going to have lots of people from and lots of teams from are Venus and Ganymede. And so let's go up to Ganymede. So with the number 31, Venus is a blue with a white squiggle, And Ganymede is like a sword. So you'd think this was Ganymede, but this is not Ganymede. There's another GAN in the asteroid belt. So that's interesting. Anyway, I thought this was cool. One of the other things I was having an issue with is that Venus and Ganymede, well, initially there were so many teams and they were both red color, and I didn't like that. So I like the seed 31. I like how Venus looks. Venus looks pretty nice. Ganymede, just to distinguish. We can try some other values here if we go up here and we choose like 118 and we run this again. We're not actually going to, it's going to overwrite all of our values, but we don't care because we've got, yes, load it up. So now Venus looks like this. Well, that's not bad. And Ganymede looks like this. We don't care about the asteroid belt, but that's what it looks like. Yeah, those two are pretty good. I like the blue, though. I like the blue. It's nice and bold. Let's have a look at our cities. I mean, a lot of this is going to be more or less the same because we're still picking the biggest cities, but again, the populations are always slightly randomized. So the biggest city on Venus, you know, might be different every time we run this. But here's a bunch of here's our potential expansion teams. So 118 does produce, you know, reasonable. I like 31 though. I think I'm going to stick with 31. And so if I save this and we run 31 again, we should get our values back. And look at that, there they are. So the blue, the nice bold, that I like, and I like, of course, the sword. So we're gonna go with that. And there's Sector Aphrodite Terra. 44 million people right at top again. So anyway, that is, I think we're gonna stick with this. Number 31 on the random seed. So the next thing I need to do is to actually manually enter all of this stuff in to Out of the Park, which I will not bore you with the details. That's going to take a long time, and I don't need to show that on camera. So we'll come back in the next video where hopefully I've got all of my teams generated, and we're good to start tweaking settings. So anyway, that's it for today. Short and sweet. Have a nice day, and we will see you next time.